All right, Alico 3. Let's do a video here. This is a type of video I've done a lot in the past, I feel like. I just picked 10 favorites from the collection. This one is going to be specifically 10 SGC favorites. So I think I sent all these in but one. So there's one I bought out at the National. And that's kind of how I got my start with the SGC black tuxedo slabs. So I'm going to sift through these and just kind of talk about the cards a little bit. But it'll be a pretty quick video. So this is the Optic 2018, and this is the hollow prism, so it's got that shine to it. Don't know the print run on these. I'm sure somebody has a rough estimate. I would say it's definitely in the thousands, though, for sure. I think the lowest parallel of the colored one is either a red or a blue, maybe, and it's $2.99 or so. So you'd have to think these were a couple thousand at least. So the hollow in a 10, that's sick. This is one of my favorite cards, I think. I bet this is my top 20 favorite cards. So this is the Atomic Refractor. I just got this one back a couple weeks ago. It was in the last Tux show. So out of 100 there on the back. Some of these, and this is something that happened more in the late 90s, early 2000s. Some of these did not get numbered. So you'll have the front Atomic cracked ice look, but the back won't have the numbering. That's just like a factory mistake. But this one has it, so... And I've said this before, but it's cool how they put the actual numbering on the case. So Peyton Manning Atomic in a 10. This is one of my favorite cards I've gotten back in the last couple years. It's the Tony Gwynn 83 top. So, I mean, I've gone through, I'd feel like hundreds of copies of this card. Just, I've talked about it on my channel too, like, one day I'm going to get a 10, and it was always go for the PSA 10, but I send my stuff like this now to SGC, so SGC 10, awesome. Not really much else to say about this one. One of the best hitters in the last 50 years. Just a beautiful copy, so a 10 on that, and then the next two are similar to the Gwyn in that they're kind of like key baseball rookie cards that I was just having a hard time getting 10s from PSA, and I sent like the best copies I had out of all the ones I sifted through. I sent them to SGC. And something with this set is, for the most part, they're usually a little off-centered, and this one just looks like it almost has 50-50. So Jeter Pinnacle 93 in a 10, and it really doesn't have any white showing on the corners, so... And then back in the day, I used to pull some PSA 10s on this card, but they kind of dried up the last 3 years. But here's the Griffey Donruss. Yeah, this copy is beautiful. I bet it's close to a pristine. So there's the Donruss. And then this is a card. I've talked about this card a lot in prior videos, but Christmas 1998, I was 14 years old, and I actually got a box of this stuff, and I pulled this Moss card, and I still have it in my collection. I'm trying to think. I think it's in a PSA 9 slab. I'm pretty sure I sent it to PSA around 2010, but I pulled this card, not this exact one, but this Rose Zero, which for this time period, this card was just, I mean, this is one of my favorite cards. You know, if you watch the channel, you know I like Moss. This is just out of 250. It's got that just fantastic look to it. I don't know. I think it's cool because it has two pictures. The ball's kind of going into the arms. Almost looks like a punt return or something. But so Mint Plus. A lot of people have asked me the last week. They've sent me messages through IG about SGC. And I've kind of asked, I think everybody's obsessed about the secondary value. And something to note is... it's not either a 9 or a 10. You have the option of a 9.5, which actually happens a lot, and I've noticed the Mint 9.5s outsell the PSA 9, so that's something to consider. You know, a lot of people are obsessed with the 10s, but if you don't get the 10, there's a good chance you'll get a 9.5 at times, so there's a lot to consider when choosing your grader. I actually just sent off a bulk to SGC today. Okay, this was one of the first SGC cards I got in this holder. This was out at the National, I want to say 325 or so. I've talked about it in prior videos, but this is the Mantle 57, and I actually had this in a 7 or 8, PSA 7 or 8, and I sold it, and it was like, I don't know, it sold for like $2,000, but I like this one. I think this one looks better. So there's no snowing. This is Dave, Blue Jacket 66. This is his favorite Mantle too. He likes this design a lot. So the 57 and a 3.5, just once again showing it's about the card and not the number. I mean, that's a beautiful card right there. Here's a Peterson. This is the Topps Chrome 2007. This one is not numbered, but these were extremely tough. It'd be interesting to pull up a pack wrapper and see, because I know when these came out, there was like I want to say A through E or something, and the different autos were tiered into letters. So like I'm just making an example, but Group A would be like 1 in 100, Group B 1 in 200, and of course I think Peterson and Calvin were in like the toughest tier. So there are a ton less of this than like Dwayne Bowe and Michael Bush. So here's the 9.5 Peterson. They just look so cool in the black holder. I don't know. I actually pulled this from a pack. And I think this is one that I sent to PSA and they said 9. And I was like, no, that's a 10. So I snapped it, sent it to SGC and they said 9.5. But it's probably a little centering issue. It's not really an issue. A card like this at a 9.5 is fantastic. So Clemens. Love the Clemens $85. And then lastly, of course, we're going to finish with the Star Rookie. Can't have a video these days without showing a Star Rookie. So here's an extremely underrated card that's actually starting to jump up. It's kind of like the 89 Donruss Griffey. I used to talk about that a lot when it was $50 and a 10, and that thing has spiked. But this card, way tougher than the flagship Topps. So broken record on this card, but this card's already starting to jump. So the Star Rookie LeBron in a 10, and I did send this one in. I think in my last order, the order before it. So that's it. 10 SGC favorites from the PC. Later.